Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, welcome to another lecture. In this class, we are going to discuss the back exercises of Unit 1 of Education, Class 12, Nagaland 4. The chapter's name is Educational Psychology. So in this chapter, we have learned about the aim and the objective of education. Why is it important to get educated? We've also learned about the most appropriate manner to prepare a curriculum for the students. The importance for a teacher to know her students well so that she is able to impart the best of education to them. How a teacher can find solutions to the different problems in the field of education. How the preparation of timetable and the curriculum, administration, everything is somehow linked with psychology. We've also learned about the different branches of psychology and also the difference between psychology and educational psychology and the relationship between psychology and educational psychology as well. Let us now discuss the back exercises, dear students. The first question says, what did the term psychology mean in the earlier terms? Now, as I have already discussed this with you, in the earlier terms, psychology meant self-reflection. And analysis of our conscious experience. This is what psychology meant in the earlier terms. Okay? What are the mental processes that occur during sleep? So even when you are sleeping, what all mental processes take place? You dream. You receive information when you are sleeping. You remember things. You learn things. All these different things take place when we are sleeping. Why is reflection important in education? Reflection, the word reflection means to think. And reflection is an important, field of education because it is very important for one to think about the interests and the aptitude of the children first and then deliver to them the most appropriate education or the most appropriate subject knowledge that will be useful for them. How is experience a complex set? Now, experience is something which obviously empowers you with a better understanding of it. Once you are experienced, you are going to learn a lot more things. Remember, I gave you an example for experience that somebody who has had an experience of only the negative things in life will only hope and perceive something negative to happen with them all the time. On the other hand, somebody who's been very positive and has seen the things from a very positive outlook will always find a solution in that manner. So that is why one's experience play a very important role in one's development. What is a good curriculum? A good curriculum is that which keeps in mind not only the appropriate syllabus or the subject knowledge that needs to be given to the students, but also imparts an equal amount of core curricular activity to trigger the logical reasoning, the learning capabilities, the thinking stage of the students. How do audiovisual aids help in effective education? We have seen audiovisual aids make things easy, interesting, fun, and more fascinating for the students to learn. Next we have, how has educational psychology affected the framing of timetable? So we've learned timetable needs to be framed in such a manner that the children need not get exhausted by the end of it. So educational psychology empowers the teachers to understand what is the most appropriate way in which a timetable should be framed so that the child is getting the best out of whatever subjects are taught. Why have the co-curricular activities become an integral part of education? Integral means very important. So why are co-curricular activities so important for education? Because co-curricular activities are going to teach the child or trigger the brain of the child so that the child can use the same for logical reasoning, for the mental aptitude, for the thinking skills, good speaking skills, good presentation. All these skills are taught to the children through the co-curricular activities. Syllabus gives you the academic, the subject knowledge, but the practicality of that knowledge can only be brought into, progress with the help of co-curricular activities. What is psychology? We've all learned psychology is that branch which helps us. It is that field. It is very comprehensive in nature. It helps us to study the mental process of the child, the people, the behavioral changes in the people. It basically triggers or understands the spirit of a person so as to understand their problems, their dilemmas, their confusions in a better way. What do you understand by educational psychology? We've again discussed this. Educational psychology is that branch of psychology which helps us to frame or to set an educational, framework for the children so that they get the best education, the learning environment, the learning material, the syllabus, the inclusion of co-curricular activities, everything, the teaching methodologies, all these things are taken care of by the educational psychology. What is the utility of educational psychology? We've seen there are so many utilities of educational psychology that we've learned about. Timetable, co-curricular activities, then administration, then, utility for the teachers, discipline. So you may write any of them depending on the marks for which this question is asked. Okay. Explain the term behavior. What is behavior? Behavior means the way you respond to a situation. This term was explained to you, if you remember, with the help of that example wherein on a hot summer afternoon you have to go out with your friends. You don't find it uncomfortable and enjoy it. On the other hand, the same time of the day, if you have to leave your house for something that you don't want to do, you're going to be uncomfortable and irritable for it. So this is what is behavior all about. How do you respond to different situations in life? How should the curriculum be framed? Should be framed in such a manner that the interests, the aptitude, the abilities, the capabilities of the children are kept in mind, and all the different aspects should be catered to, and not only the high scorers should be kept in mind while planning a curriculum, but on average, holistic development of the children should be the aim of a good curriculum. Why are guidance and counseling important in educational psychology? Guidance and counseling are important because the children, there are so many children who deal with different problems in their life. Problems such as anxiety, stress, problems because of their culture, because of the society that they belong to. And it is only because of guidance and counseling can the child be shown the correct direction and a solution to the same can be found so that the problems can be solved rather than being multiplied. What measures are needed to be taken to maintain a healthy environment? So what all things should be taken care of to provide a healthy environment to the children? It needs to be ensured that the classrooms, the playgrounds, the teaching aids, the auditorium, everything that is given to the children is such that it makes learning fun and interesting for them. It should not be a burden for them to go to school and to learn. Rather, they should derive pleasure as well as learn something new every day. What do you understand by cognitive psychology and what is the role of it in effective learning process? We all know cognitive psychology is that branch of psychology which deals with the brain, which triggers the mental ability, the thinking skills, and the logical reasoning of the person. And it is very effective, and or rather, it plays a very high role in the effective learning process, because once a person is able to know the cognitive skills of a child, let's say for example, the teacher would be able to groom the child better. So, on the basis of the cognitive ability of the child, can the learning process, the teaching learning process be made better, and a better outcome can be derived. Okay. Why is educational psychology called as an applied science? I gave you the example of hypothetical deductible method, and we talked about the Big Bang theory and how that theory, which talked about the universe's existence, came into, became validated only after the multiple hypotheses were made, the data was empirically verified, and only then was it brought to the fore. So that is what is to be required in this sentence, in this question. How can the aim of education be flexible? We discussed it. So the flexibility of the education means the education should keep on changing as per the needs of the students. One should not be rigid with respect to the curriculum that has been planned for the students. And with the change of time, with the change in the needs and the interest of the students, something new should always be added, so that the entire teaching learning process can be made more interesting and more efficient. Explain in detail the meaning, nature, importance, and scope of educational psychology. We have discussed about it. We've learned about educational psychology, its meaning. How is it important in the education? We've learned about its importance also, and its scope also in discipline, timetable, and administration that has been discussed. Importance of educational psychology. Again, there are 9 points that stated why is educational psychology important. You can write depending on the number of marks for the question. How is psychology an essential part of education? Again, we have learned psychology is an essential part of education. Again, in this, the manner or the type of question that has been put forth is different, but the answer is same. The usefulness of psychology in education. Remember, we talked about the same answer as this. Educational psychology is a developing positive science. Elaborate with examples. So, positive science and educational psychology again are interrelated with each other. We discussed this with the help of the Big Bang theory. Again, I gave you an answer to that. The difference in psychology and educational psychology, we learned in the last part of the chapter that educational psychology is a wide, comprehensive term that deals with the behavioral and the mental processes of the people, while educational psychology is just one small part, one small subject that is looked into on the from the perspective of educational psychology. How does psychology complement education? Complement means how is psychology useful for education? Again, the usefulness of education, the importance of education, psychology in education, we've discussed about that. So with this, my dear students, we come to the end of this chapter. I hope the chapter is clear to you.